When it comes to tarot, there are so many different kinds of decks that you can choose from. You don't just have to read with the original RWS, whether that is because you want a diversity of different decks or because you get a little bored of using the original RWS. Here are 4 alternatives to the original. Hi, I'm Ruby. I'm here to help improve your tarot practice through my tarot chats and deck reviews. The first one that I want to talk about is sort of a revision, I guess, of the original one. I have the Luna edition of the Ethereal Visions Tarot. So the original one wasn't as diverse. It had more, I think, gold accents. It was more beige. It was still a stunning deck, but I personally much prefer this Luna edition, which has more purplish holographic accents. It has more purplish hues to the artwork as well. There's more ethnical diversity. And I found the voice of this deck to be very light but neutral. The cards are a little bit bigger than the original tarot size, but I still think it makes for a pretty okay shuffle. This is a deck that I love to use for relationship readings, but also for my day-to-day readings. This has done really well for career readings for myself. It works stunningly on camera because of the holographic details. And overall, it's a wonderful RWS alternative if you're looking for something a little bit more special, a little bit more whimsical. The guidebook is pretty good as well. It has interpretations as well as keywords, which I like to see both of those in a guidebook. So it's the guidebook that makes this a really good beginner deck. Deck number 2, I'm pretty sure those of you who have seen the previous 2 videos that I've done on this are shocked that I haven't talked about this deck yet. The Lightyear's Tarot. I didn't want to put it in like the first video, then I had a lot of other ideas for the second video. So I still have to mention it, right? Because this is a wonderful alternative. It's based on the original RWS meanings, but the artwork is completely different. I personally have a really hard time getting intuitive hits from the artwork of the original RWS just because it doesn't really feel like my world. It doesn't really feel like anything that I can connect to. It doesn't really feel familiar to me, but this does. When I look at an image from this deck, I can envision myself in the card. I can envision myself in the person, in the character depicted in the card. And because there's a lot of ethnical diversity, it's very easy for a lot of people to see themselves in these cards. The shuffle on this deck is absolutely incredible. I love the cardstock of this. And this is another one of those guidebooks that makes this deck a great beginner deck because it comes with keywords for both upright and reversal. It comes with a whole interpretation and some sort of a mantra. The Lightyear's Tarot is one of my absolute favorites. I constantly recommend it for new tarot readers just because, you know, it's easy to pick up, it's easy to read with, it's easy to put yourself in the cards, which helps with when you are just learning to read the tarot. And trust me, if you've been holding yourself back to getting this deck because you're like, everybody loves it, I don't want to be one of those people, it's just overhyped. That was me. And I was wrong. I ate my words proudly because I love this deck now. Third deck is one that I don't often show on camera because it's a deck that I use for my personal readings. I don't read for anyone else with this deck because this got to know me so well. I usually don't do the spiritual woo-woo talk because it doesn't really feel comfortable for me, but it works to describe how this deck knows me. So this is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, and it depicts different goddesses. It doesn't depict any specific goddesses, but it shows different goddess parts, and you can maybe recognize different goddesses in them, or maybe you can recognize yourself in them. They don't necessarily look super similar to the original RWS, but there are a couple of elements in there that are familiar. For example, if you look at the 8 of Wands, that's pretty similar to the original RWS card. But overall, I really like the use of flowers. I love flowers. Like, if you couldn't tell, I have a whole like half sleeve of flowers, and then I have sunflower tattoo right here. So I love myself some flowers. And this deck, though it looks very quirky, and it's very different because it's all on a black card instead of a lot of the white and white edges and white borders that we see. I did edge this black myself, but because it's so different, it really offers something new in, at least in my collection. The guidebook is actually pretty good as well. It has almost a page of an interpretation and then 3 keywords for every card. I will say that what is more advanced about this deck is that some of the major arcana cards are renamed. So here, instead of the world card, we have the universe card, and the court cards are renamed as well. So for instance, the warrior is the original knight, and then also there's the nymph for the page and the spirit for the king. I think the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot offers something really different, and that is why I like it. Plus, I have bonded with it, okay? This last deck is very themed. It's the Magical Dogs Tarot. And as you can expect, this is themed around dogs. Now, I myself have 2 dogs. I love my dogs. So when I figured out that there was a dog tarot deck, I knew I had to have it. This is one of those big box Llewellyn decks. So you get a big box, and then in it you have the book. They call it the companion book for the dogs one. And there's a lot of information in this guidebook. It explains what you see in the card, then it has pause for thought, keywords, and then a reverse meaning plus the keywords for the reverse meaning as well. There's a lot that you can get out of the guidebook, and the cards themselves are just wonderful. I really, really like this art style. I love that you are able to really see and feel the emotions with these dogs. It is so adorable, and I feel so connected to the cards whenever I read with them. I think they really depict dog behavior really well. And that is what makes it so relatable if you are a dog owner or just a dog appreciator. I'm not gatekeeping a dog deck here. It's so wonderful to read with. As any Llewellyn box set deck, this shuffles amazingly. I love to riffle shuffle these, but they overhand shuffle really well too. Personally, I keep my deck in a bag because I don't think storing the whole box is very convenient, but I love the deck. I love to work with it. It's so much fun. If you want to see 4 more alternatives to the original RWS tarot, then click the video on the screen right now. Subscribe if you want to see more tarot chats and deck reviews. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!